So this is my final herd hierarchy into the season. We only had 2 real big injuries in the preseason. Nobody's playing starters. So I considered everything. These are what I see today. I don't think we're going to have any injuries before Sunday or before Thursday's game. These are the 10 best NFL teams. My final preseason herd hierarchy.
Herd hierarchy.
Time is now. Let's go.
The top 10 NFL teams according to Colin. Number 10.
Okay, what coach dominates young quarterbacks? Bill Belichick. The AFC East now has rookie Zach Wilson, Tua starting in his first real full year, and Josh Allen still a fairly new quarterback. I got New England 10. Listen, they added to their tight end and wide receiver groups. Belichick, the schedule, not overly formidable. The division is going to be a defensive-led division. Outside of Josh Allen, most of your best players in this division, besides Josh and Stephon Diggs, they're defensive players. And I think the best defensive team is going to be New England. They ran the ball almost 52% of the time. I don't think they're asking a lot of Mac Jones. It's the deepest running back stable they've had. It's a very good offensive line. There's a lot of teams I could put at 10, but I truly think the Patriots are undervalued. I think it's an 11 or a 12-win team. If you look at the schedule, I have New England 10.
Number 9.
The Colts. I do worry about some of their vaccination issues, but don't forget, they've added Carson Wentz and Eric Fisher, so they're more athletic at left tackle and at quarterback. Don't forget that at the end of last year, they had 2 emerging young stars, Jonathan Taylor running back, Michael Pittman receiver. They were also one of 5 teams to be top 10 in offense and defense. This is a rock-solid organization that simply needs more athleticism at quarterback, and with Wentz, they have it.
Number 8.
Green Bay. Okay, they were 0-2 against Tampa. They were 14-2 against everybody else in football. My concern is their offensive line. Left tackle David Bakhtiari, out, pup list for 6 weeks. Corey Linsley, Chargers, left, Pro Bowler. Right tackle Rick Wagner, no longer there. Running back Jamal Adams, a very good number 2 back. This offense has some real issues. They're a Devontae Adams tweak from not being nearly as dynamic, and I do think the division is slightly better. The Vikings will be better, so I have Green Bay at 8.
Number 7.
I'll go Rams. I don't want to go too crazy on the Matt Stafford stuff, but I will say this. Sean McVay has won 67% of his games, and I believe the toughest division. I think he's a really good coach. I also think their defense was number 1 scoring defense in the NFL and the number 1 total defense. It overwhelmingly returns. I do worry about the Cam Akers injury, but I do think Sony Michel is about 80% of Cam Akers. I think this is a very good team. I'll keep them at 7. I don't know if they're great.
Number 6.
Seattle. Dwayne Brown is in and playing left tackle. Tremendous player, that counts. Should also be mentioned, at the end of last year, in the final 8 weeks, this defense was the number 1 scoring defense in the NFL. Pete Carroll and the fellas got it figured out. They also had 7 Pro Bowlers. That was tied for the most in the league. They have upgraded their offensive line with Gabe Jackson and the addition of tight end Gerald Everett. This is a Super Bowl-capable team. I have them winning their division, albeit barely over the Rams.
Number 5.
Ravens. Schedule's a little dicey early. 3 of their first 4 on the road, and I do worry about losing a couple of running backs. Gus Edwards now will be the bell cow. I'm not sure he is. But let's talk defense for a second. 10 of their 11 starters on defense return, and they were the number 2 scoring defense. I think we often overlook Baltimore's defensive side because of the dynamic nature of Lamar. That's all we pay attention to. And their tight end sets and their O-line. It's a really good defense, and they almost all return.
Number 4.
Cleveland. I think Cleveland-Baltimore's a coin flip. What I worry about Cleveland, 7 new defensive starters. Now, I like them. I think they got really good players. I just don't know if they're going to be gelling in September. I think by October, November, Cleveland's going to be really good. I also think we have to be honest. Odell Beckham is often hurt, but he's not now, and that is a pop offensively that we did not see with this offense late last year. Odell Beckham wasn't around. So let's Jarvis Landry's great. So they're going to be offensively could be really special. Don't forget how good Beckham is when he's healthy.
Number 3.
Buffalo. They return all 11 starters on defense, and they went and drafted 2 rush ends in college. That's my issue with them. Can they get pressure on the quarterback? They addressed it in the draft. They returned 21 of 22 starters. This is right now a very formidable, well-run organization, and I think they have so many young players that are ascending. No chaos. I mean, it wouldn't be crazy to say that Cleveland and Buffalo, believe it or not, are 2 of the best 3 teams in the AFC for a long time. I really like this organization top down.
Number 2.
Kansas City, they have 4 new starters on the offensive line. That worries me. So does the fact they were the worst NFL red zone defense. They allow touchdowns instead of field goals. Stuff like that matters as we see young quarterbacks getting better. Josh, Baker, Herbert, Lamar. This AFC now, I don't recall a time in my life it had this many great young quarterbacks. So situational football, field goals over touchdowns could be the difference between winning a division and being a wild card team. That's why they're 2.
Number 1.
It's Tampa. That's obvious. Let's remember what seized the moment in the Super Bowl. It wasn't Brady. It was the defense. I think one thing that's overlooked by Tampa is their consistent pass rush. They were the only team in the NFL last year that had 4 different players with over 6 sacks. And yet, what did they do in the draft? They went and got Joe Tryon from Washington, a wiry and quick edge rusher who was very good in the preseason. This is the best. Now, it's not as talented with as many first-rounders as Washington. But in terms of athletic players in their front 7 that get to the quarterback, they added a piece to an already significantly difficult defensive front to defend. I think it's the defense, and Todd Bowles, who I think is an excellent coordinator, which will carry this team. It will not be Brady. And there's my herd hierarchy.